Picture this. Your tablet just got destroyed, which was somehow the only way you can create artwork on the computer, like stencils. So you resort to the old-fashioned way of cutting out stencils by hand. You realize that your friend has a computer and a 3D printer. How do we get a paper design into a 3D model? I'm about to show you. The other day I received a photo of a stencil that someone cut out by hand that they would like me to turn into a 3D printout of one. Let's see what we can do. We only have one photo to work with, unfortunately, so let's see if we can fix this image and make it to where we can create a model from it. To fix this image, I'm going to be using a simple scan tool app that I got from the Play Store. And this will allow us to select the corner pins when we process the image, and that will give us a chance to fix the distortion. And once we got it pretty straight, we have a wide variety of filters we can choose from. We're going to choose the one that gives us the best outline, since we're going to be processing it in Adobe Illustrator. And now in Adobe Illustrator, I'm going to do Image Trace. I'm going to select Silhouette here from the drop down, and then I'm going to click Expand and Ungroup. Sweet. And now the goal is to release it, and the ghost and the mouth figure, we're going to make sure they are both released. And we'll do a little bit of a cleanup here. So for the ghost figure, we're going to set the fill to none, and we'll set the stroke to 1. And with our mouth figure, we'll do the same thing. We'll set the fill to none and set the stroke to 1. Perfect. And now we'll do a little bit of a cleanup. We'll delete this duplicate here. We'll clean up all these imperfections. And you may notice that the eyes did not carry over, so let's add that in. Luckily, I saved a copy of the original image in a separate layer file, so I can use it as a guide. Alright, so we'll set the fill to none, and we'll set the stroke to 1 with our eyes, and now we'll go to File, Export, Export As, and we'll save it as a DXF file for AutoCAD. Now we are ready for AutoCAD. So in AutoCAD, what I made was a 4x4 inch square to put our mask in, and I had to scale this down a little bit. So we'll get it in like this. And really the goal now is to actually turn this into a 3D file. So we'll save this real quick here so we don't lose our work. It's always a good idea to save your work. And we'll scale down our box here. Our box is basically our stencil material. So now what we'll do is we'll go into the 3D space like this, and we're going to type in extrude in the command bar. And for the height, you're going to want it around anywhere between 2 to 5 millimeters. It doesn't really have to be that thick. Alright, and then we'll do subtract. We'll select what we want to keep, hit enter, then select what we want to delete, and boom, we have our 3D stencil. Now it is ready for our slicer. Now the final thing in AutoCAD is to go to File, go to Export, and then you want to export this as an STL file, which is a 3D format. And now we are ready for our printer slicer. And now since we're in our slicer software, this is the software that is usually bundled with your 3D printer for converting those objects into a code that the printer can read. So I imported my 3D file, and I'm going to just do draft mode, and then I'm going to export this as G-code, like so. And boom, it is already done. So now we take that and we'll pop our code onto the flash drive. And now we'll plug that flash drive into our 3D printer and turn it on. And now this might be the most satisfying part. Watching your 3D part come to life in front of your own eyes. Nothing more satisfying than that, literally. Okay, so I end up stopping it around 60% because I didn't want it to be too thick, but it turned out really good so far. But yeah, let's go test it out. Alright, I'll do one spray over just to see how well it works. And we'll let that dry. And you know what? Not too bad. If you guys have any ideas or suggestions, let me know. I guess one thing I would change is probably the thickness. I would probably make it less thin since this was a draft. But other than that, it turned out very nice. But you guys can do this if you have a computer and a 3D printer. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye guys!